you're going to do a cut. Action! So my name is Johnathan Flynn from here in Ballina, County Mayo. For the last number of years competing in the Irish Drift Championships. Started off at the IDC Championship a few years ago. Then we just weren't really doing much. It was more for the crack than anything. And it all started off years ago with a BMW, and then we just kept progressing along. And from one thing led to another, and about 3 years of not qualifying in any championship. Then last year we went and we done a few changes to the car, engine upgrades and a few different bits.
I remember seeing, probably a couple of months ago, you shared on Facebook, there was a group of 4 or 5 BMWs, all from Ballina up at, was it Tina?
No, there was one BMW, it was mine,
one
and there was a line of Nissans.
And that was that's one of the first days?
That's probably one of the first days out in the BMW, yeah.
And how long did you hang on to the BMW for?
The BMW for about maybe 8 or 9 months, I'd say. And I bought it, I pulled it out of the field.
The best place.
And it was a rough little yoke. And I got Massey Ferguson red tractor paint. Made it look very slick and tidied it all up. Welded a cage into it here myself. Good old gun barrel GB pipe in it for a plumber into it. Got that into it, and yeah, I went up to Tina, a few brilliant days out in Tina with it, and then I was just getting the hang of it really. So then I went up to Mondello for a day or two, and I was doing my days of doing Mondello. I've done a few different days, but like I think one of the first days that we were up there, we were halfway through the day, and it was just going great, little yoke, little small wheels in the back for as hard as you could go. I was going around Mobile one day. And actually the brother Noel was with me, and we went around the bend, and actually the whole back of the car went like this. I sure waddled like a duck's arse up the track. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And we kept driving around, and it was discovered that the whole bottom arm had pulled clean out of the chassis, it rushed. So I was literally drove it on the trailer, brought it home, fixed it up. There was no, back then, there was no alignments or anything like that. I remember I brought it into Max Tyres in town. I got them to track the front because back then I didn't even know how to track a car. Yeah. So went in, done that. The back wheels, there was no, it was, as long as it looked straight, it was fine. And yeah, done another few days out in that. And it was a great little car. Learned, do you know what I mean? To learn everything, the basics, got going. And then I was like, right, I need more power. And that's when this financial mistake came along.
I think I got to know you, it was the start of, kind of midway through 2018. I think I started shooting at IDC. That's, now you're only 20 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah.
But that's where I got to know this car in its first form.
Yeah.
Half the first form up here.
Sitting up there, the war marks are present on it. Yeah, probably would have been back then. We'd done the IEADC when that started out, but the car was completely standard basically back then. It was cut hubs and everything in the front, and compared to now, it was just a pig of a thing to drive,
Yeah.
But it's, do you know what I mean? You learn from the basics. We're working on a very tight budget.
Yeah. And
it's just, I was working off apprenticeship wage back then, so it was just whatever worked. It was only a bit of crack more than anything, just getting out and having a crack at weekends.
So obviously, as you touched on a couple of minutes ago, you won the championship last year. And I know we were expecting to see you down at Drift Aid, down at Watergrass Hill, May of last year. And I think it was the week before you decided, let's go rebuild this engine. Yeah,
the week before we had the crankshaft pulley split on the engine, so I was like, right, and so I was new at that stage, it was time to upgrade that. And so I bought a new AIT one, so I didn't think I'd have it in time for a Drift Aid. So I was like, right, so got another standard one off one of the lads, went to put it on, and it wasn't working. That one wouldn't work right at all. So actually the following day, I got that one a lot sooner than I thought. Grand, car on the lift, putting it in, and the keyway fell out twice, hit me in the face. I was like, you little bastard. So I took it back out and I stuck it in place. Got everything lined up lovely, pushing in the keyway and the whole lot of the pulley. I was like, lovely, it's going into place now. Tightening the bolt, left the car be. The following evening came down, a few more bits to finish off the car. Went to start the car, put on the lift. Engine wouldn't turn over. Not even turning at all. I was like, what's going on here? So I was like, back on the lift, pushed it on, went to pull the engine by the pulling bar, C solid, tight. I was like, this is not normal. So So I was like, right, the only thing I had done was change the pulley. So I took off the pulley, discovered the keyway slipped out, sunk clean into the oil pump.
Lovely.
So at that stage I was like, right, I go, there's no chance of this, like, so I sent Richard Bradley a Snapchat that night. The lad does all the tuning on the car, and I know he hates people snapping him, but he's very sound when times are tough and need be, he'll talk to you. And he's like, do not chance that oil pump. He goes, engine out. I was like, shite. So I actually tore into it that night, had the engine out that night. The following day, I started stripping it the following evening, and then we had to basically rebuild the whole engine, new oil pump and the whole lot. But lucky we had it out then for the following week. 2 weeks after that.
2 weeks after that was
2 weeks,
started
the championship. We had it back out there and mapped again and the whole lot checked over.
And the season before, so I know you qualified both rounds of IDC Pro 2 the season before, so Tina and Watergrass Hill. You were running with mid 300s horsepower?
It was around the 350 brake horsepower the whole time.
And then after the rebuild, engine came back with?
After the rebuild, last winter, then we done the turbo set up on it, manifold, waste gauge, all the goods. Cams into it, different fuel system into it, bigger injectors. We're running around 64, 70 brake horsepower.
And to be honest, from spectator's view, I mean, I think I watched almost every round or every lap of competitive drifting last year. Different machine.
An animal of a thing to go. There's just no comparison. Like the car just drives itself last year. There's no comparison at all.
Obviously, you went out that first round, put in 2 nice qualifying laps.
For a change.
For a change.
Normally I'm a nervous bag of shit in the car at that stage, but we knocked that out of the bag this year.
And
well,
as we were discussing a couple of minutes ago off camera, things started happening for you.
Things started clicking together very well, so they did. One thing started leading to another. Amazing time we came in out of the car that day, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? And the drilling rushes, I couldn't, there was one stage I got out of the car, well I think it was after the top 16 or something. Literally got out of the car, I couldn't hold my phone. I had to put the phone on the top of the car, and the brother handed goes to me, he's like, what's wrong with you? I was like, I can't hold that thing. The adrenaline rush that was going through me was mental, like.
And just, you mentioned Andrew, he's at every round.
Yeah, he just tries his best.
And Ryan as well.
Yeah.
I think there's a photo, we might try and stick it in here if we can find it.
Attached here.
Of yourself, Andrew, and Ryan, after
winning round one.
Yeah, I think the photo that I was thinking of was the one
after the championship.
After you won the championship.
Yeah.
So round 1 and round 2, fairly uneventful.
Yeah.
You just like as you do, went and won the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Round 3.
Round 3.
Brendan Burke was coming back to have a proper pop at you.
Yeah, but his luck didn't go his way.
No, I think it has to be said.
It was very close.
It was a great fight the whole way through the season.
Yeah. It was Nick and Nick, the two of us. And then was Nicky, Davey, or Dean was right behind us, not very far. Dean was catching us, so yeah. But they still weren't close enough to take the championship.
It was between
in the
yourself
last round.
Between yourself and Brendan.
Yeah.
So what happened was your top 16?
Top 16 against John Loader. Went at the start line, and I was leading, and I tore off, and everything. It was a stormer of a run. And I knew that morning that something wasn't right with the steering wheel because she used to catch, so it did. Going into the hairpin was the second bend, and the car just completely. I was going at such a pace so fast that the front wheel just went in and locked on the tub, on the arch. I was like applying a brake to one wheel, and it just completely caught the car and spun the whole car around. I was like, oh shite, that's it, gone. So that was it, a 0 on that run. Went to the start line, and I was shitting it. I didn't know what to do, what was going on, head was all over the place, and actually all of a sudden, your man gives the thumbs to go, I lifted the clutch, car wasn't moving. I was like, what the fuck? To realise the car wasn't I forgot to put the car in gear. And now I did catch up to him at the end of the track, but sure, it was a waste of time.
You did 0 on the first run.
Yeah.
And
0 on the second run.
And 0 on the second run. Kind of obviously talk about the championship and all of that. Quick talk about kind of the people who make it happen, the sponsors. So I see Johnny Flynn, heating and plumbing contractor behind you.
It's our own business here at home, my father. Don't get a lot off him, but I get a lot off him at the same time. Do you know what I mean? I'm working out, built that car down in the shed there over the years. Time off work. Do you know what I mean? If I have to shoot off, someday, even if it's go get the car mapped or pick it up from mapping, do you know what I mean? There's never any issue going off for work or taking time off work to go. There's no questions asked of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not into the sport. I actually got him to the very first track day last year up in Mondello for Jap Fest, was it, I think? Or Z Fest, it was a total washout, and was. So he lasted like 3 hours and went home. But yeah, no, at any time there's no issue. Do you know what I mean? Going away on weekends or time off work to go away an extra day. 2 years ago into BDC, and we're gone for we went twice, so basically you're gone for 4 days off work each time. Do you know what I mean? There's comfort. Do you know?
And I know you have a few other sponsors.
Then I have heating engineer supplies, Charlie O'Neill there in Limerick. Charlie's been with me actually since very day one, since I started drifting, even just practice days. He used to always just help me out and stuff. And he's been always there around with me, do you know what I mean? He goes to the events, he has stands at events and all that sort of crack. So, and he, tools wise, he does all plumbing equipment, but he does a lot of garage equipment and jacks and lifts and all that sort of crack. Yeah. He can sort all that stuff out. And then the next one then we have is WRC Controls. You have Michael Lockney, he's actually only down the road from us here, but their main depot is in Galway. And he's wired that car from top to bottom since day one. No, since day one, the car was butchered together by ourselves. But since there was 4 years ago, I think it was, I remember he came up on Facebook 4 years ago. We got the car wired top to bottom. I put in link ECU, link dash, the whole works then. And ever since then, there's been no issue at all.
Yeah, the car's always seems.
So hopefully he's back on board again this year. That's what I'm hoping. And he's actually texted me there a few minutes ago, and because he's have a few bits to upgrade this year on the car. So hopefully he's going to do them by the end of the month. Hopefully the car ready by then.
Yeah, and kind of as you said a couple of minutes ago, we couldn't go without saying Richard Bradley is always there. I think I remember after the round in Belfast a couple of years ago. You actually didn't bring the car home, you dropped it straight to Richard.
Yeah, we had an issue up there at that round. That was in the Econ Centre in Belfast. Yeah. It just started running like a bag of shit, and I was like, what's going on here? I hadn't a clue what's going on. Like, when it comes to that sort of tuning and stuff, and the way the car starts running, or plugging in the laptop, nothing to do with me. So, like that again, I rang Richard. I knew he was going to that event, and I texted him, I go, what's the story? I go, this car isn't running right. So he's like, I'll be there in half an hour. So we did actually a job to get him into the pits, but we got him in and then and he came over, he's like, your camera angle sensor's gone. I was like, oh bollocks. He goes, they're a piece of shit, the little disc in them. You always see them on Snapchat changing them. And so actually I got another end of one off a lad up there, and Richard changed it there and then for me. And I think the car was driving fine after that then. But he goes, just to be safe, drop it into his house on the way home that Sunday evening, drop the car off to him. There's never any issue, do you know what I mean? Running wise, the car, if it was away on a weekend, do you know what I mean? He's at the end of the phone if you need it. Do you know, which is comfort in that. He recommended what turbo setup to go with the car when I'd done it last year. Anything he told me to do with the car, or take it as advice, I went that way. And you bring it up to him, and there's never any issues.
Yeah.
So there's reliability then, like.
So yeah, and just kind of like, look, talking on the sponsors, like you said, the lads in WRC Controls get you out of the spot. Same with Richard. Same with anyone.
The whole lot of them, yeah. Charlie, the whole lot of my father, the whole lot of them always help me out.
Have you many more new sponsors coming on board this year?
This year, we're in talk with one or two, but like everything, I am in the middle of doing up stuff for our sponsors to try and get new sponsors in, but trying to build the car and like trying to do camera work. It's not my thing. Camera work and paperwork is not my thing. But definitely going to try and get new sponsors on board in the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of trying to talk to a few, but I just literally have to put the paperwork together for it. And so I'm hoping, I'll try and get a few new sponsors in. So if there's anyone out there, they're welcome to come on board, give me a shout, message me on Facebook, Instagram or anything, and we can get it talking together
absolutely.
and see what we can do.
We can drop in your socials here, and as I'm looking at it, there is a bit of real estate on the car if they want to get if they want to get a name on there.
Yeah. There is room to improve, like. So we'll fit in anyone. Do you know what I mean? We'll welcome anyone on board and see what we can do with different deeds or whatever.
Get things working.
Get things moving, get things ready for the championship.
You're quite happy bring a car down to a premises.
Yeah, if it's for a show or whatever. This year now coming as well. The plan is maybe not have them for round one. We'll see. It depends what sponsors I can get on board first. Yeah. But I'm planning on getting a new T-shirt done up, and have them for sale on the day of the events. And another event that we'll have the car on display this year will be if it's in one piece for the show.
So you're saying
This. Without the tits. Old school, new school in Longford as well. The car will be on display there. So if we get t-shirts and stuff done up this year, we're planning on having a few for sale up there as well. That's what we're hoping for. We'll have to talk to Niall. He doesn't know that yet, but we'll work something.
you have a few upgrades. You won Pro 2 last year. You're making a big step up this year into Pro. You've a good few. I see some of the upgrades over in the corner.
Yeah, there's going up to Pro Championship now this year, so you're going to be running a semi-6 tyres. So I was thinking, right, last year I was breaking diffs, breaking prop shafts and all that, so I don't want that car crack. I want the car reliable. If I was going to spend a couple of thousand every round and going out there supporting, promoting sponsors, you want the car to be there on the track as long as possible. You don't want to be sitting in the pits underneath line of the car fixing the car. That can be done here after event if there's a small issue, but you want the car reliable. So this year we've took out I had an RB25 gearbox, that's gone now. We've put in a 530 diesel box. They're meant to be very strong. So that's the cheapest upgrade that we could have done. I could have went to a Samsonus or something, or G-Force box, but they're just not feasible. I can't afford that. So that's the only strongest option I could go for at the minute for the gearbox wise. Then we're going with an ABC clutch kit and adapter plate and all that crack to work the BMW box onto the SR engine. And then we're going with Winters differential quick change diff, because with the BMW box you have shite ratios, so you need to be able to get the right ratios for different tracks, layouts. So that's actually en route from PowerMax as we speak. It's hopefully to be here early next week.
Yeah, and even I think heading into this year in particular, we've got 5 rounds in 4 or 5 different locations.
Yeah.
No track is going to drive the same. You're going to need
The good thing is with this year, we're going to a lot of tracks that a lot of people have never driven on.
Yeah.
So everyone is going to be going in. No one's going to go in as an advantage or an experience on that track, because like up the north, no one has driven there. Okay, Mondello, everyone has probably driven that layout. There's Cork. We'll go down there. God knows what way they're going to send us down there this year, because last year for 3 rounds we managed to drift it 3 different ways. Yeah. And one way I hope it's actually up the hill and up that jump.
Yeah.
Because that layout last year was just class. It was sad. It was something different like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's talk of another one. I won't say here now, but I heard a little whisper of it. And it's a long distance from Mayo, but again, it could be something different.
Yeah, you're fine.
It's a big hit to the pocket. But we'll try and scrape through. It's actually going to be very tight to make round 1. Financially and everything, to be honest with you, but I have the Winters en route and paid for, and the next thing we have to get is a new fuel cell we're going with.
Yep.
So the back all set up there for it. No, I actually welded in the tray for that last night, so that's ready to bolt in for that once I get it ordered up and stuff. But there's not a big delay in that, but I'm hoping to have the car ready by, probably it won't be ready by the end of April. I'm hoping first, second week of May. It's going to be tight.
It's going to be tight.
I don't know will I get a practice day out before round 1. I'd like to get somewhere, but again, there's nowhere in the West of Ireland.
To be fair, I don't think I've ever seen a drift car ready more than 2 hours before a drift
No,
event.
it's always lastminute.com. This year we've also gone for, Yogan full window kit, polycarbonate window kit into the car.
See them over here, ready to go in.
Ready to go in, so hopefully they'll be, safety wise is one issue why I went for them. Do you know what I mean? If you get smashed door there, or like I got hit there loads of times to the side last year and stuff, the window's not just going to break in on top of you.
Yeah, you know, just a bit of safety.
Plus the back window's going to have to be cut for the fuel cell and all that for access down, so it's just going to be very easy to work with them. Plus the fitment on them is absolutely unbelievable, so it is. Because compared to some people just cut a sheet of perspex, tech screw it in. It's just, do you know what I mean? It's agri spec. There's no bit of chase to it at all. No, not my thing. You have to present the car well. Do you know, there's no point in going out there, and it's like everything. Putting out the upgrades in the car, have it reliable. Have a reliable car, it doesn't cost a lot to have it looking well. A simple few little touches, and you can have a car looking very, very well. Yeah. And then, but if you have a car looking well, you have to have it going well. So you have to have a little bit of a mix of both to go on, so you have to.
Yeah. Like, I have to say, even now it's going to be in the background of all of this, the blue looks well, the sponsors look well.
Yeah.
And I think that is the big thing for you, as we were talking a couple of minutes ago, being able to give back to the sponsors.
Oh, you have to, like, do you know what I mean? A lot of them go out of the way to help us. Do you know what I mean? A lot, like. And last year, what had we? We had some issue with wiring or the alternator and stuff like that. We'd hassled down Cork with that and charging and stuff. And the minute I came home and brought the car, I was like, on to Michael Lockney. I was like, what's the story here at this? He's like, right, bring it down to me straight away. And I was down there late one evening. It was a Sunday evening. We were down at the shed there at Adelaide. Do you know what I mean? And he's giving his time up for you. On a Sunday evening where he could be with his family, but yet he'll come out and try and give you a dig out, like, that's what it's about. And you have to be able to have the car respectable on track. Anyone can come over, and many people came over last year and asked, geez, who wired that car? Because they looked underneath the car, underneath the bonnet, and looked into it, and everything's nice, presentable, and neat. Their work is neat, and my car, you have to have the car presentable and neat. So that, do you know what I mean? Everything works together.
You're bringing the sponsors with you and kind of having a bit of pride in what it is you're showing off. Yeah,
definitely, yeah.
Heading into this year, what is, like I said, you're mixing it in with the big boys. You're taking a step up. What's the plan? What's a realistic plan?
I don't really know. Like, we're just going to go make round one is the first key. See how the car goes, because we're probably not going to get any practice on it. But like last year, I done the practice days before the competition and stuff like that. I've been out driving with a lot of them lads before, and after winning last year Pro 2 Championship and previously driving with some of them in practice days and stuff, I know the car is only about 470 brake horsepower, but do you know what I mean? There's not a lot of them pro cars over 600 brake horsepower in IDC. Really, do you know what I mean? There's nothing crazy stupid. There's a lot around the 600 brake horsepower. So we're touching their doors, like, and definitely after last year and driving with some of them in practice days, I will be actually feeling confident in going out and have no hesitation of trying to stick it to the door. I'd 100% drive through the door if I could, like.
I think just kind of on that you've driven with a lot of them, I think the one that sticks out for me is you drove with Tomas Kiley. I'm not sure which round it was.
That was last year.
When you blew the diff clean out of the back of it.
Yes, I got through to drive after winning the round one. Yeah. And I brushed the diff in the pro thing on the Sunday, yeah.
And I've never seen any man as happy to be on the back of a truck coming back into the pits.
Yeah.
But you would stuff Tomas has got.
That was actually after, that was the top 16. Top 16, so it was with the pros that day. Yeah. And like, I was going around the bend and I heard this bang. I heard the clunk and the bang, and I was like, this is not good. But I was actually after sticking it to him so much, I was like, I couldn't give a shit. I was after winning round one of the championship and the Pro 2 champion, or that day, day before, and then going out there and sticking it to him in the top 16. And I was like, after something like that, going in this year, I feel very confident. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't give a shite. I got out there for the crack, and I'll do my best.
Obviously, Tomas went on and won the championship. I think he's running kind of mid to high 600 brake. Yeah. So he'd have, let's say, easy 200 horsepower over you. Yeah, yeah. But for the first portion, until the diff had enough, you would.
Yeah, but see, I think a lot of them, well, this is just my opinion as well, they're going out there 650, 800 brake horsepower. They're spinning the wheels and basically, alright, they're getting gripped down, they're going fast, right? They will lose you on pace sometimes, but where with the SR, she's chugging away. She's like a little donkey, she'll keep going, so it will. And it'll just keep going. She's not spinning the wheels and just spinning them and going nowhere. Where a lot of them cars are spinning wheels and just smoking them up but not getting the grip down. Where with the SR and around the 470 brake horsepower, with a set of 76 on it, she has pace because it's not actually just chewing the tyres and spinning them going nowhere. Doing basically a roll and burnout. She's actually getting the grip down and pulling the pace. So I think there's a little bit of a balance when it comes to that sort of power and grip wise when it comes to that.
From watching you drive the last couple of years, I am very, very excited to see kind of how things materialise this year, because I know you'll be a different man now with the winters. And
yeah, once we get the gear ratios right and stuff like that for different tracks, after about maybe 3 or 4 runs, I'd say, on a track in that morning of practice, we should have the feeling of it, like, and know what ratio suits best and stuff. So we'll just have to see how it goes, but we're not going to back off, like. we'll keep fighting away.
In that case, we'll wrap it up. And
Yeah.
if there is anything you want to say to the Pro Grid, you're mixing it in with them this year.
I'm coming for you fuckers, watch out.